For exclusive content, subscribe to me on Patreon. For just $3 per month, you'll gain access to exclusive content for a wide range of topics, such as travel, human psychology, sports, and more. There's no contract and you can cancel at any time. So become part of the community on Patreon today. The link is in the description. What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So I'm going to talk about Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. and look at how we as gamblers can exploit the market to generate profits. And before I do that, I just want to say that this video is a video coming from a complete stranger online. Please be responsible when competing in the markets. So you have Chris Eubank Jr., who is a marginal favourite at 7-4 on, at least with Paddy Power, and then you've got Conor Benn, who is 7-5 against with Paddy Power. And I'm predicting that other betting sites are gonna have pretty similar odds. So when we're looking at, who is gonna win, or when we're looking at ultimately the bottom line, how can we generate profit as gamblers in the market? We need to look at misprices in the market. And for me, I see a clear misprice in the market when I see Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. The reason I think that this is mispriced, and I think that the public and the house have made a mistake, is because I look at Chris Eubank Jr. and I see a middleweight, maybe even a super middleweight, a 168 pounder naturally. I see someone who's fought at the top level, maybe not the elite level. He hasn't fought Canelo, he never fought Golovkin, he didn't even fight Danny Jacobs, but he has fought at the top level at least, if not, even if not the elite level, at least the top level. He's fought George Groves, he's fought James DeGale, he's fought Billy Joe Saunders. I also see a guy who is athletic, has got some speed, even if not the speed of the past. And I see a guy who is seasoned and a veteran of the game. And I see a guy who ultimately has got proven to have a chin in the higher weight classes. When I look at Conor Benn, I see a fighter who has grit, has heart, but I see a natural welterweight, and not even a big one at that. Conor Benn, even at welterweight, never looked big to me. Now, of course, he's going to be growing and getting bigger, and you fill out as you get older. I know that as well. But I see someone in Conor Benn who is naturally a welterweight, pushing it a super welterweight, 154 pounder. So a natural 168 pounder versus a natural 148 pounder. It's a 20 pound difference, right? I see a guy who has been down multiple times in his career. He was down multiple times against, and I know it's against the same guy, Paynu, but Paynu is not a big guy. I see a guy who has not fought at the elite level at his own weight class. Gennady Golovkin versus Kell Brook. I know that Chris Eubank Jr. is not Gennady Golovkin, but Kell Brook was more accomplished when he stepped up to middleweight to fight Gennady Golovkin. Conor Benn's best win is a pick'em. Is it Chris Van Heerden? Is it... I forgot that guy's name who he knocked out in a round, which is a bit worrying. But who's that guy that he knocked out in a round? Benn. Let's find out. And when I see the name, I'm gonna know who it is. But that's life. Who is it? That's it. Samuel Vargas. He knocked out in a round. Is his best win Chris Algieri? These are not top names. Conor Benn has been living off name value, living off Matchroom promotion. Now, I'm not saying he's not no good, you know. I'm not saying he's not no good at all. You know, he probably beat me. You know, I'm a boxer at a lower level. So I'm not saying don't get that misconstrued. What I'm saying is that Conor Benn, you know, he's been living off the promotion, the marketing, his dad's name, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we break it down to the bare bones, he has not fought elite competition. So there's nothing there. And then when you know, that can be okay, because sometimes you can look at fighters, you know, like Moses Italma, for example, and say, okay, but he's not fought great opposition, but I can see there's something special there. When I look at Conor Benn, I see an improving fighter, but I don't see this massive punch power that people are talking about. In fact, since he's come off his, you know, since the controversy of the adverse findings, since he's had all his fights since then have gone the distance. So there's questions there, isn't there? You know, I'm not saying whether he did or didn't. I'm just saying there's questions there. You know, since that happened, he's been going the distance. And I don't see massive punch power. I don't see anything that leaps off the page that makes me think he can do a Roy Jones Jr., go up several weight classes and be a seasoned veteran who's not past it. I don't see it. So for me to see, you know, going back to the bottom line, Conor Benn being 7-5 against only marginal underdog, for me is, you know, a misprice in the market. So what I am looking at is, can Conor Benn win the fight by stoppage? I would say that that's his only way of winning the fight, but I also think it's very unlikely. I don't see him beating the longer, bigger guy. You know, I don't see it. So for me, you know, a sensible way to approach this with your portfolio is Chris Eubank Jr. outright to win the fight, because let's not forget, he might carry Conor Benn. Who knows? If he finds it that easy, the way he carried Liam Williams, he might decide to carry Conor Benn. So, you know, you just want to play it safe and say Chris Eubank Jr. outright to win the fight. But if you want to hedge the play with the only way that Conor Benn can win, in my opinion, and that is by knockout. You know, this is a boxer card, so it's not a matchroom card. I feel like Conor Benn, he's not going to get a points win. He's only going to get a knockout win, and even that's unlikely. So for me, the portfolio to build is Chris Eubank Jr. to outright win the fight, covering your bases, whether he wins on points or stoppage, and then you hedge the play with Conor Benn by knockout. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.